Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Soda Review Podcast. I am your host, Julian, and I'm not quite happy with how warm it is in the bedroom. On today's episode, I thought we would continue the State Fair theme that I had started in the previous episode. I had a State Fair soda that was kettle corn flavored, and it was none to my liking. So today, I thought we would try another flavor, also from the Blue Sun Bottling Company in their State Fair soda line, that I'm hoping will fare somewhat better. Although I don't necessarily flock to the item that this is attempting to emulate, it does at least sound somewhat slightly more palatable, if you will. So that's right, folks. On today's episode, we will be sampling State Fair Soda Chocolate Chip Cookies. Being a soda podcast reviewist, I have no choice but to follow the road wherever that may take me. And today, well, it's taken me further along the State Fair soda line, and we're going to try this chocolate chip cookie one. Like I had mentioned previously, it is from the Blue Sun Bottling, which Blue Sun is the local craft soda shop where I actually procure a majority of these drinks, both for the podcast but also for my personal consumption. If we look at the label here, it's rather similar to the kettle corn, except what I thought was ice cream clouds, but then also kind of speculated could be popcorn. It was in fact popcorn, because that's now replaced with chocolate chip cookie orbs sort of floating about. If we look at the ingredients here, we have carbonated water, sugar, natural and artificial flavors, citric acid, sodium benzoate, and caramel color. So I'm not going to beat around the bush and stretch this out any further than it needs to. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab my trusty pop the top bottle opener, and we're going to rip into this son of a gun. Ooh. I'm going to chalk that up to user error. I'm not used to popping tops in this segment of the house. So I didn't put enough shoulder into it, I think is probably what the issue was there. And perhaps as a result, this one really didn't have any discernible haze that was present in the kettle corn. Although looking at it, it's a little bit darker in color, but it does still sort of have a gold hue to it. So based on my experience with the kettle corn flavor, and I haven't even smelled this one yet, I'm going to venture to guess that this also probably has a cream soda base, and more than likely just some sort of a chocolate flavor additive to give it that chocolate chip cookie flavor. But again, I haven't yet really done any investigation other than just the visual aspect. So you know what? I think without further ado, we're going to give this one a whirl and see what we got. So, State Fair Soda Chocolate Chip Cookies, bottoms up. Boy, they're really challenging the palate here, this State Fair soda line. I've got a number of thoughts swirling around in the old mind grape, in the old brain melon here. My initial reaction was that, yes, this very much does appear to be a cream soda base. And initially, it almost were as if I was eating a Tootsie Roll while drinking cream soda. That was the sort of mashup of flavors that I initially got the impression that I was sampling. But upon further examination and much deliberation and a little bit of rumination, I think the best way to sum this up is that it just tastes kind of like a chocolate flavored Ensure drink. I don't know if any of you have ever had the displeasure of drinking one of those. If you did, you pretty much what you're thinking of right now as you're calling upon that memory, as you're recollecting it. That's pretty much what we have here for the State Fair soda chocolate chip cookie flavor. But, especially if I guess I don't know, I can't speak to state fairs outside of the one that I've gone to for the last several years, which has a pretty popular chocolate chip cookie stand, the name of which is actually escaping me right now, and I can't be bothered to actually do a quick Google search. It's got a lady cookie mascot with long eyelashes, and she's kind of giving you a wink, I think. But I hate those cookies. I think those cookies are a blight on our society, especially the copious amounts that they sort of force you to purchase. You can't just buy, one or two. You got to buy a cone that they just stack to the hilt, or a bucket that just sort of makes you look like just a real glutton. Much like with the kettle corn, I'm going to go in for a second round, but I'm kind of ruining the prospect of having to do that. But my cat's laying here patiently just eyeballing me, waiting for my hand that is within about a 2-foot proximity of her body to sort of close the gap and start petting her. So without further ado, I'm going to go in for another round, and then I think we're going to settle up. Oh, God. That is dreadful. Absolutely horrible. Selling this soda ought to be a crime. But if it were, then my soda purveyor would be in jail, and I would be up Poops Creek, which I'd prefer to avoid. So I think in the interest of just their personal freedom and my personal enjoyment, I will avoid this beverage at all costs going forward. And I normally don't do this, but I would suggest that you probably do the same. Even if you like chocolate chip cookies, I can't imagine you would enjoy this flavor at all. So with that said, boy, we're 2 for 2 on the strikeouts of the State Fair soda, but you never know until you try, right? So I think that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. I'd like to thank you all for joining me on another episode of the Soda Review Podcast. I've been your host, Julian, signing off.